Jeopardy!
Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trevette.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. TV shows that bombed. New York, New York. My Spice. Museums. The Animal Kingdom. And sounds like do, re, mi, etc. Where do we begin, player one? Completed in 1931, this structure required 10 million bricks. A true stairmaster would climb its 1,860 steps. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Select again. It's the Daily Double.
Yeah! Woo!
You are in the lead right now. What'll it be? Answer this. It's Spanish for sun. Yep. Player one, you pick again, please. The Hirola is also known as the four-eyed species of this African ungulate. It's player one.
Yeah!
Correct. Player one, you pick again, please. Brassica junctia is the brown or Indian type of this spice. Here's the response we were looking for. Mustard. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The nuclear blast that caused chaos in Jericho, Kansas was detonated in this state capital to the west. Here's the correct response. Denver. We return to you, player one. The highlight of Argentina's National History Museum in this city is Candido Lopez's historical canvases. We're talking about Buenos Aires. Player one, back to you. The Norway type of this infuriating rodent actually originated in Asia. Yes, player one? Right. We return to you, player one. The great men of France, circa 1780, are immortalized in the Grand Homme Gallery of this museum. Here's what we were looking for. The Louvre. Player one, choose again. Bangladesh produces about 60,000 metric tons of this a year. It's player one. Yes. We return to you, player one. In 1754, King's College was founded in New York City. Today it's known as this Ivy League University. Here's what we were looking for. Columbia University. Player one. Pick again. Popular in spaghetti sauce, wild marjoram is more commonly known by this name. Okay, player one. The correct response is oregano. Please pick again, player one. And here's Jimmy.
New York's Museum of Modern Art exhibits paintings that feature this technique in which tiny dots of color seem to blend together.
Player one. Good for you. Player one. Pick again. The Ceylon or tree type of this spice that's good on toast is buff-colored and mildly sweet. Player one. Here's what we wanted. Cinnamon. Player 1, choose again. In a 2007 episode of this series, a terrorist detonated a low-yield suitcase nuke in Valencia, California. Here's the response we were looking for. 24. Player 1, pick again. And here's Sarah.
Sea lions have external ears, while true seals do not. However, they all belong to this suborder, Latin for fin-footed.
Player 1? No, that's not right. Here's what we were looking for. 24. Please pick again, Player 1. Works by Titian, Raphael, and others, sold by the USSR to Andrew Mellon, became the core of this D.C. museum. Yes, Player 1? No. The correct response is the National Gallery of Art. Player 1, pick again. The Athenaeum in Hartford, Connecticut bears the name of this founder. No relation to Longfellow. Here's the correct response. Daniel Wadsworth. You get to pick again, Player 1. A Katharine Hepburn memoir. Here's what we wanted. Me. Player 1, choose again. It's a long, long way to go to this 20th letter of the Arabic alphabet. Here's the correct response. Fa. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Here's Kelly to start us off.
In an episode of this classic 60s series, bookworm Henry Bemis survives a nuclear war and finds a library, but then breaks his glasses.
The correct response is The Twilight Zone. You get to pick again, Player 1. This series, Peter Petrelli had visions that he would cause a nuclear holocaust in New York City. We're talking about Heroes. Player 1, pick again. Forget about it. Now a borough, it was incorporated as a village in 1816 with roughly 4,000 residents. Here's the correct response. Brooklyn. Player 1, back to you. The name of this spice, important in Asian incense, can also refer to a small piece of garlic. The correct response is clove. Please pick again, Player 1. In a sushi bar, you will likely be offered some pickled this, so you can cleanse your palate between bites. Okay, Player 1. Yes. You again, Player 1. The eyes of these croaking critters usually bulge, but they retract and push down on the mouth to help in swallowing. Okay, Player 1.
Yeah!
You got it. We return to you, Player 1. In 1765, Congress met in New York to protest unfair taxes levied under this act. Player 1. That's it. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. The hermit type of this animal can twist its abdomen to one side so it tucks neatly into its home. Yes, Player 1. You got it. Player 1, you pick again, please. In a 1977 episode of this sitcom, Detective Diedrich notes that a student's physics project is a functional nuke. Here's the correct response. Barney Miller. Player 1, back to you. In 1776, after the Battle of this area, the British retook New York City and held the city until the war's end in 1783. Okay, Player 1. Good. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Double talk phrase that followed ooh in the title of a 1973 album by The Faces. Okay, Player 1. Right. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. We start the Double Jeopardy categories with this one. Country's highest points. Arabic. Country music. Animals. Take me out to the history game. And classic kids lit. All right, if you're ready, it's Double Jeopardy time. Mount Kosciuszko in New South Wales. The correct response is Australia. Player 1, back to you. A shamal is a wind that whips up this blinding phenomenon. Yes, Player 1? That's it. Player 1, you pick again, please. At his wedding reception in 2006, he serenaded bride Nicole Kidman with the song Making Memories of Us. It's Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the response we were looking for. Keith Urban. Player 1, choose again. The laughing type of this dog-like carnivore is a predator of big game, but also scavenges for food. Here's the correct response. The hyena. We return to you, Player 1. It's 1922, and the Blackshirts force King Victor Emmanuel III to appoint this far-right fielder as Prime Minister. We're talking about Benito Mussolini. Select again. This story begins, all children except one grow up. Here's the correct response. Peter Pan. You get to pick again, Player 1. In a novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett, 7-year-old Cedric Errol inherits a title and is known as Little Lord This. Here's what we were looking for. Fauntleroy. You get to pick again, Player 1. It's 1649, and this king is looking kind of tired out. Yep, here comes Oliver Cromwell to give him the hook. Here's what we wanted. Charles I. Select again. The Snyders is among the smallest types of this eel, known for sharp teeth and attacks on divers. Here's what we wanted. The moray. Player 1, choose again. At the 2010 ACM Awards, this American Idol became the first woman to win Entertainer of the Year twice. Let's hear it, Player 1.
Yeah.
Is correct. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. The number 3 is Talata, and this day of the week is El Talat. We're talking about Tuesday. Player 1, you pick again, please. Pico de Teide in the Canary Islands. We're talking about Spain. Player 1, you pick again, please. In East Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro. It's Player 1. Here's the correct response. Tanzania. Player 1, choose again. The name of this headdress for men may be related to the word coif. Here's the response we were looking for. Kafia. You get to pick again, Player 1. This Dolly Parton song topped CMT's list of the 100 greatest love songs of country music. Here's the correct response. I Will Always Love You. You again, Player 1. The caracal is a wild type of this household pet that roams over Africa and the Middle East. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good. Please pick again, Player 1. It's July 10th, 1553, and this lady will pinch hit for Edward VI, who's been taken out of the game. Cousin Mary is on deck. We're talking about Jane Grey. You again, player one. This classic is the first book in Madeleine L'Engle's Time Quartet. Here's the response we were looking for. A Wrinkle in Time. We return to you, player one. Completes the title of a classic about an African-American family. Roll of Thunder. The correct response is Hear My Cry. Player one, choose again. It's going back, and it's over the 73-mile-long wall built in the 120s AD by this slugger, the Emperor. Let's hear it, player one. Oh, sorry. Here's the response we were looking for. Hadrian. Please pick again, player one. What else is new, but that the new is also called this, from Dutch words? Here's what we wanted. The wildebeest. Player one, back to you. His first #1 country hit and first top 40 pop hit was 1975's Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Here's the correct response. Willie Nelson. Please pick again, player one. Answer? One of the daily doubles. You are in first place. Player one, please select your wager. And the daily double clue. Change one letter in Wade to get this. A gully that's dry except during periods of rain. Good for you. Please pick again, player one. Phnom Aural. Here's the response we were looking for. Cambodia. Player one, choose again. Answer? The second daily double. You are in the lead right now. Decide on your wager, player one. Okay, here is the clue. In Central America, Doyle's Delight, not Victoria Peak as was thought. You got it. Player one, back to you. In Arabic, follow a hope about the future, like the train arriving shortly, with this, meaning God willing. Here's the correct response. Inshallah. You get to pick again, player one. It's never too early for happy hour in It's 5 o'clock somewhere, a hit for Alan Jackson and him. The correct response is Jimmy Buffett. Player one, back to you. Its German name is Nilpferd, Nile horse. Here's what we were looking for. The hippopotamus. Player one, you pick again, please. It's 1902, and Teddy Roosevelt is putting this junior on the bench, the Supreme Court bench, and he'll be there for 29 years. We're talking about Oliver Wendell Holmes. And the $2,000 clue? The Black Pearl and Island of the Blue Dolphins are two classics by him. Here's what we were looking for. Scott Odell. Looks like you'll be moving on to Final Jeopardy after this commercial break. Here comes the Final Jeopardy, players. The category is this. Landmarks. What are you going to wager? Here's your Final Jeopardy clue. The landmark site known to the Lakota as Six Grandfathers was renamed this after a prominent lawyer. What did you say? How much do you add to your total with that correct response? This makes you our new champion, player one, so congratulations. Thanks for playing. We'll see you next time.